Hi everyone, it's me Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean. I'm really excited because today is our first 30-minute mind body connection. So great little lunchtime opportunity, if you're joining me live, to get up, get away from your desk, change your mind, change your breath, change the way that your body feels. We're gonna start in 5 minutes. You have 5 beautiful minutes to take your time, create some space for yourself, make your way to your mat. If you would like to light some candles, put on some aromatherapy, find some relaxing, quiet music that you enjoy. I'm always a big fan of the ambient relaxation channel on Spotify. I find ambient music is so great during yoga because there's no words for me to get distracted and try to sing along with. Make sure you have some water. We won't have any real water breaks. You might want to have a block nearby to help you, or maybe a cushion to sit on if sitting on the floor is uncomfortable. We're going to start in Sukhasana, an easy pose, in 4 minutes from right now. All right. Two minutes till we start class. Ooh, if you're here early, welcome to the party. Feel free, if you did come to your mat space a little early, to just start tuning in with your body. Maybe you want to take a couple moments of your breath in stillness. Maybe stepping away from your desk has brought to your attention any tight or tense spots. So feel free to get the stretches that feel good for you, that you know your body needs, that you think your body might want. Maybe you don't know quite what your body needs, and that's why you're here today, and that's great too. 1 minute till we get started. Just enjoy your own personal time and movement. Ooh, on your mat. Fred, stop throwing your food my way. I love that you want to share with me, but like, I don't want any. You're a very sweet girl. I'm sorry. Go back to munching your peanuts. I'll stop looking at you. Well, hey y'all. Welcome. Welcome to today's brand new Express mind-body connection. All right, so we're starting off in Sukhasana, in some sort of a seated position that feels good for you. I find doing a little crisscross applesauce to be really comfortable. If you're having trouble getting your knees to relax down away from your face, if you came to sit on the floor and your knees are really lifted, grab a pillow, grab a block, grab a meditation cushion, anything you can to find that slight lift of your glutes so your knees can start to slope down towards the floor. And maybe you were like me and you had no trouble sitting on the floor, but you're like, I'm gonna try that meditation cushion or block or pillow or something, because why not? Just give your body the opportunity to open up. And when we get here, start to come back to your stillness, start to come into your breath. You're gonna have your palms face down on your thighs for a little bit more grounding energy, or maybe facing up towards the ceiling to just receive all the good energy that is out there. Feel free to close your eyes as you internalize the focus on yourself, on your body, your mind, your breath, and this moment right now. And now, this moment right now. Just meaning that anything else that might be floating through your head, appointments, meetings, papers, dinner, lunch, an argument you had 5 years ago that you just came up with the best retort for. Let all of that go and truly focus as best as possible on each individual breath, each second of your inhale. Enjoying the sensation at the top of your lungs nice and full, and then as slow as you can, exhaling all of the stale air out of your diaphragm. Make each breath fresh, new, longer, deeper than the last. As you're focusing on your slow, relaxed breath, bring some awareness to your body. Notice what's happening with your shoulders. Are they creeping up towards your ears, which is very normal when we're feeling stressed or tense? Can you continue to use your exhale to just gently seat those shoulder blades down and back? Notice if you're bringing any extra overarching or maybe rounding towards your back. And if you need to, use your hands to work to find some length through your spine. Openness of the chest, a little engagement of the shoulder blades together behind you, a little draw in of that abdominal core to keep your back feeling good. Use your next inhale to find a little extra length through the crown of your head, and use your exhale to tuck your chin down towards your chest. On your next exhale, go ahead, gently roll your right ear to your right shoulder. On the exhale, bring your chin back towards your chest. Inhale, left ear to left shoulder. Just keep moving at your own time with the pace of your breath. Starting with the movement at the front of our bodies. After this next big breath, if you want to start to make a larger circle, you are welcome to. However, if it feels good to keep the motion in the frontal plane, you can stay right there. Taking about 3 or 4 more breaths, just making sure that you finish up on the opposite side that you started with. Next time that chin comes down towards your chest, take a moment, hold it there, pull your belly in again, and use your next inhale to lift your head up. Take a couple circles with those shoulders. Still enjoying your long, deep breath. Change the direction of those shoulder circles. Pull your belly in, ground your sit bones. We're gonna graze our fingers by our shoulders. Maybe they even touch towards the tip of the back of your ears as we stretch all the way up towards the ceiling. As you find this reach, work to bring it through your waist. Relax those shoulders away from your ears. Thumbs face towards the back of the room. Use your big inhale. find your lifted length, and on your exhale, right hand comes down towards the floor. Maybe your forearm can even come down as you reach your left hand over the side of your body. Inhale, both arms come up through center. Exhale, find a big reach on the opposite side. We're going to go for 2 more times on each side. Just continue to work with your breath. Make sure you don't come into any stretches that are so deep that you find yourself limiting your breath. Come into our last time through on each side. Great work. Inhaling both arms up overhead. Again, relax those shoulders from your ears. Pull your belly in. Length from the waist, from the crown of your head. Inhale up. Exhale. Find a little twist of your spine. Once again, using your breath. If it feels good, you can bring those arms up overhead. Use your exhale to twist towards the opposite side. If you don't want to find that extra lift through your chest, you can always just inhale, drag those fingers forward, and exhale. A little extra rotation. Inhale to the center, exhale into our twist. 1 more time each side. Take your time. As you're ready, come back through till center. Totally okay if you took a little bit longer than I did. Maybe you moved a little faster than I did as well. If you found yourself needing the block, we're going to take ourselves off of our prop now. Go ahead, uncross your legs. Turn to the side. Bring the soles of the feet down towards the floor. You can bring your hands behind you and even windshield wipe those legs out. As I windshield wipe my legs, I also think about stretching. So I'm not simply dropping my knees from side to side. As my knees drop to the right side, my left leg stretches through the knee, a little through the shin to reach towards the end of the mat to bring more of a stretch towards the back of the legs, the hips and the hamstring. A little bit more reaching, maybe my glutes even gently start to lift up off of the floor just to engage those legs as much as possible. All right, from here we're going to go into a figure 4 stretch. You can do this upright. If it's very uncomfortable for you, you can also recline all the way back down. Take a moment, walk your hands back. We're going to cross the right leg over the left leg. Maybe you already feel the stretch here. If you don't, you can walk your hands in a little bit closer. Try to take this rounding out of your back. So really pull that chest forward and through. Continuing to stretch the back of the right knee towards the end of the mat. And if you needed to, you could lay all the way back to come into this same stretch. Just finding what feels right for you today. Take 2 more breaths. And then we've got a spine twist. So if you're upright, we're going to keep the cross of our right leg over the left. Simply extend that left leg out. Plant the right foot on the floor. Keep your right hand behind you. Inhale, left hand up. And exhale, come into your spine twist. And if you're laying back on the floor, simply allow that right knee to drop over to the side. What I want you to try to eliminate is any rounding in your back that you might have, especially with this upright spine twist. So once again, pull that chest forward and through. Maybe walk your hands in a little bit closer. Maybe you even need to have a block at your back to help you really work to find that nice long spine, that lifted length, and you can decrease the amount of your twist here as you need to. Wherever you are, take 1 more big inhale. Keep those shoulders pulled away from your ears as best as possible. And on your exhale, slowly, gently untwist. And let's bend those knees in and come into the other side. So this time we're going to cross the left leg over the right, coming into the figure 4 stretch. As soon as I come into the stretch, pulling that chest forward. Not trying to find an extra back bend or arching of the back, just working to find some length. So really planting the sit bones on the floor. Lengthen the spine and a stretch through that left hip. Feeling it in the left hamstring as well. Take 2 more breaths. And then use that next exhale to find some length through the right leg. Plant your left foot on the floor. Walk your left hand in a little closer to the base of your spine like a kickstand. And already work to bring that chest forward. The same way that we talk about your lower back feeling good, finding that hinge forward of your hips. Inhale, right arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale, cross it over. You can use your forearm to gently press against the back of the knee. It's okay if your foot comes off of the floor. Pull those shoulders away from your ears. Draw your belly back in. And use your next exhale to look over your left shoulder. Stay here for a full cycle of breath. And as we exhale, gently begin to untwist. You can uncross your legs, maybe bob your knees up and down. Wiggle your feet. Next up we have half dragonfly. So go ahead, fold your left leg in. Left leg in. Kick your right leg out. The more that you flex your toes back towards your face, the more you're really going to feel the stretch towards your inner thigh, starting to bring the stretch towards your calf as well, especially the more upright that your body is. We're going to move through a couple different postures here. Make sure you have some space on both sides of your body. Let's take 2 more breaths here. The more that you're hinged forward, the more you're going to increase that stretch as well. So if you need to have your hands behind you to take it a little easy on yourself, just create a noticeable stretch that you can continue to hold. And on our exhale, we're going to take that right foot and we're going to bring it back to come into some 90-90 for deer pose. So use your breath, exhale, bring that right glute back down towards the floor. Find a place that feels good to relax your hands. Maybe it feels better to be in a little bit of a twist. The twist can sometimes decrease some of the tension that you feel in your right glute. We're going to take 2 more breaths before we send this right leg behind us and come into pigeon. So keeping the left leg towards the front, you can bring your hands down in front of you and start to wiggle or walk your right leg behind you and then roll over to get the right thigh on the floor and your left glute can lift up off of the floor. It's better to have that left glute lifted. If you have that left glute on the floor and you're really open, you're losing out a lot of the stretch here. So square your hips back down towards the mat. You can stay high here in your pigeon, or you can feel it even more if you fold yourself down. We'll take 2 breaths right here. And from pigeon, we're going to come into down dog. So if you brought yourself down onto your forearms, come onto your hands, palms, tuck your back toe under, lift the right knee up off of the floor, and then send your left leg back to meet with the right, taking a moment here in down dog. You can pedal through the heels. I'm just going to turn sideways onto my mat. All right, pedaling through our delightful heels. You can have as generous of a bend in your knees here as you need to. And let's come on, we're going to do the opposite thing through the opposite side. So you just had your right leg forward. Let's go ahead, take that left leg. Maybe you want to inhale it up towards the ceiling for some funsies. And exhale, bring it forward and slowly relax and release yourself down. Wait a minute, we just had that right leg behind us. I'm sorry, back to our down dog. I got confused. All right, let's bring the right leg forward and send our left leg behind us as we start here in pigeon. So remember, you're squaring your hips towards the mat instead of turning out towards the top leg and bringing your right glute or the outside of the right thigh towards the floor. Work to bring the top of your left hip crease in the direction of the mat. Pressing my elbows into the floor creates a nice little stretch through the upper back, separating those shoulders. Take 2 more breaths right here, and then we're gonna lift ourselves up if we came down, and we're gonna fold the back leg in to come back into deer pose. Remember, it's up to you how close you bring the back foot towards the center line of your body. You can keep things at a nice 90 degree angle. Try both. Notice which is the best stretch for you today. And then again, you have the option to face your chest in the same direction of your knees, or take a little bit of a spine twist, which I think makes it a little bit easier. But what feels good for you? See if you can use your breath to relax your left glute towards the floor. Come in a little bit deeper here towards the end. Take 2 more breaths. And then you can always shift the weight more into your right leg as you kick that left leg straight and come back into our half dragonfly on the opposite side this time. So flex those toes back towards your face. Remember, you can take that nice little forward hinge. Find the flat back that feels good for you. If you're really feeling sore today, you can always bring your hands behind you. Take a little bit of the stretch out. The more that you hinge forward, the more you stretch through your heel and flex your toes back towards your face, the more you're going to activate that inner thigh. Let's take 3 more breaths in half dragonfly, and then we'll come into a nice full dragonfly, which means we're kicking both of those legs out. You can bring your hands behind you for a little bit of support as you bring your right leg out to meet with your left. You're just like opening your legs however much feels good for you today. If you want to increase the distance, putting both hands on the floor, you can gently start to wiggle your glutes up. Can you externally rotate your legs so that the soles of your feet are not facing down towards the floor? Still getting that beautiful stretch towards those inner thighs. You can bring your hands down to support you, to find that lift of your chest, that length through your back. Keep breathing. Back to that same slow, relaxed breath that we started class with. So we created a noticeable stretch, might even be a little uncomfortable. Not painful, just something that we are aware of on every inhale, throughout the length of the inhale, and on the exhale, just doing your best to let it go. Just letting go of the perceived tension, just noticing what feeling uncomfortable, how does that manifest in you? How does that make you feel? Does it make you upset? Does it make you feel anything? Okay, let's go ahead and bring those legs together. My favorite way is to just bob our feet in, be a little silly. All right, so we got both legs in front of us. I'm gonna gently walk my glutes behind me to find that forward hinge of my hips so that my back feels good, and a little draw in of that belly to support the back, which honestly is a little tired, not gonna lie. All right, so starting right here in staff pose, if your hamstrings are super tight, having these straight legs will probably be a little uncomfortable, so you might wanna take a slight bend in your knee here to get that long spine. And if not, go ahead and work to straighten those legs. It's practice, it's not perfect, so we're just gently pushing ourselves to create a little bit more opening. All right, we're gonna come into a runner's stretch here. We're gonna find 2 stretches on each side. So shift a little over to the left as you bend your right knee, and then we're gonna sit back on towards our glute. So once again, you have the option. This is similar to the 90-90 stretch that we were in a little bit ago. You have the option to really fold that all the way in, but I want you to try and keep your knees pointed towards the top of your mat as opposed to opening super far out towards the side. So keeping things in close, almost like your knees are still side by side from each other. Obviously, they might have needed to separate just a little bit. And depending on how much amazing thigh meat we have, I acknowledge that it becomes a little bit more challenging to keep those knees side by side. All right, 2 more breaths right here. Go ahead, bring that right leg back in line with your left. Take a moment, you can bob your knees, windshield wipe your feet, and we're gonna come into half lotus. So once again, finding some length through your left leg, maybe even using your glutes to help you walk your sit bones back, finding this nice long spine and belly pulled in. You're gonna take your right foot and bring the sole of the foot as close towards your hip crease as possible. And depending on your body, that might not even actually be crossing. Maybe you're just in some version of an upright tree pose right here. Maybe your foot's a little bit lower. Maybe you can find a cross. Don't apply any pressure on that knee if you can, but work towards the idea of, once again, I have this knee in line with my mat, not too far out towards the side, not feeling any tension or pain in the knee itself, but I am feeling a nice stretching sensation. You can even gently pull on the top of your foot to help bring it in a little bit closer. Maybe use your forearm to keep it there. We're in a version of the half lotus right here. Take 2 more breaths. And then after your next exhale, take your time, find your uncross. Once again, option to bob your feet, windshield wipe your legs, and then finding length through the right leg, finding that nice lift the spine as you lean towards the right and bring that left leg back behind you for a nice runner stretch. So we're not trying to open our knees super wide to the side and create a 90-degree angle here. We're keeping things close towards the center line. Maybe you got a little weight in that right hand. Maybe you got a lot of weight in that right hand. That's totally okay. Let's enjoy 2 breaths, the magical number 2. And then go ahead, kick that left leg forward, bob it out for a second, find that windshield wipe, walk those glutes back. Once again, find a nice straight right leg, the straightest that you can find today. Remember, you might need to keep a little bend in the knee because things are feeling really tight. And then just do your best to come into some sort of a fold in of this leg. Both sides of our body are not the same. Even if you work towards full lotus, it's very likely that one side is a little bit more open, a little bit more flexible than the other. No pressure in the knee. But this does bring a little bit more pressure to the outside, to the space around the knee area. If it feels too much, open things up a little bit more. Take your time working towards that idea of full lotus, which, don't you worry, we are not doing today. All right, I want you to once again bring that chest through, squeeze shoulder blades together. Can you find a little bit of a forward hinge, and how does that feel? Does that change the stretch for you? Find some length on your next inhale. And on your exhale, uncross those legs once more. Bob your feet, windshield wipe, walk those glutes back. Bring your belly towards your thighs for a little bit of caterpillar. So first coming forward, you can even think about reaching forward on your inhale, and you can stay here nice and active and lifted. But if it feels good, use your exhale. You can find a little rounding down and forward. Ideally with belly already touching on the thighs for a little bit of support. And on your exhale, roll yourself up. Let's turn ourselves over and come into tabletop. Come into tabletop. Tabletop, hands, palms underneath of your shoulders and hips stacked right on top of the knees. We're going to give ourselves some cat-cow. So press into your hands, palms. Engage those arms. Elbow creases are shining towards each other. And our arms are, as stated, engaged. So there's not a bend in those elbows. Press the tops of the feet into the floor. And then pull your belly in. Look towards your knees, maybe towards your belly button as you come into cat. Take a big inhale at the top, and on your exhale, arms stay straight as you pull yourself through. So belly comes down towards the floor, chest comes forward, and look up towards the ceiling. Still pressing the tops of the feet into the floor. You can feel your glutes separate. Enjoy a big inhale here. Find movement on your exhale. And if it feels really weird for you to find movement on your exhale, just continue to move with your breath. Find what does feel good for you today. Maybe give yourself a couple little shakes, shaking your cat or your cow's tail, wiggling your animal shoulders. Take the time to pass through each direction one more time and then return to that neutral tabletop. So hands, palms underneath the chest. We're going to bring our toes together, open knees nice and wide. Send your hips back towards your heels for child's pose. Walk your hands as far forward as feels good for you today. If your shoulders are feeling really tired and it doesn't feel good to walk your hands back, you can bend them like goalpost arms and keep them relaxed right by the side of your head. If that's still too much for you, you can even reach back towards your heels. Allow those shoulders to hang heavy down towards the floor. And I think it feels best for me to get this big reach forward. But I know that when work from home first started and I was still recovering from some shoulder surgery, I could not do this. It took some time to bring back this flexibility. All right, let's go ahead and use our next inhale to pull the chest forward, bring the whole body forward to come into an upright cobra. So pressing palms into the floor. You can always open your hands a little bit wider. You can open your feet nice and wide as you really work to press that pubic mound towards the mat. Roll those shoulders down and back. To really engage your back. Look up towards the ceiling. And then on your next exhale, take your time, bring yourself back up to tabletop, cross your ankles behind you, walk your hands back, and we're going to come back into Sukhasana, into a seated position. Take your time, walk your legs out. Just having some fun moving around. We're next laying down on our backs for Savasana. Made it all the way to the end of practice, and we're going to end here on our mats, on our backs. Let's take 1 minute of silence and stillness together before we close out class. All right, we're going to finish off here on our backs. I do encourage you, if you have some more time, to stay here in your Savasana to keep your breath slow. to just allow your practice to sink in, to create some extra openings, awareness, and space and gratitude for yourself. If you have any questions or concerns about anything that we did today, reach out. I hope you enjoyed this nice new 30-minute practice. I know it feels fast. I'd love to do 90 minutes of yoga, but if I only had time for 9 minutes of yoga, it's better than none. Any movement is better than no movement, and just taking this time to turn inward and change the breath feels so good. I encourage you to continue to think good thoughts, to speak good words, to eat good foods, and do good deeds, and nourish yourself from the inside and out. Until I see you again, my friend, or you see me, know that the light within me honors and sees the light within you, and I'm so appreciative of you coming and sharing in today's practice. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, your week, your month, your year, your everything. Namaste.